Across industries, from retail to manufacturing to hospitality, US businesses are facing a major shift that many consumers don't see. Behind the scenes, companies are being pushed to replace old equipment sooner than they ever expected. Not because the equipment is broken, not because they want upgrades, but because a wave of new energy efficiency mandates is changing what businesses are allowed to operate, purchase, or maintain. This new rulebook is reshaping capital budgets, supply chains, and long-term planning. And for many businesses, it's forcing an accelerated transition they weren't prepared for. So why are these replacements happening now? What's behind the surge in new regulations? And why does it matter for nearly every type of business? The first reason is rising energy consumption. Businesses depend on equipment that uses enormous amounts of power: refrigerators, HVAC systems, commercial ovens, motors, lighting, boilers, and more. As energy demand rises across the country, regulators want to curb waste, stabilize the grid, and push more efficient technology into the mainstream. Old equipment burns too much power. It forces companies to pay higher electricity bills and adds pressure to local power systems. Newer models use significantly less energy, and regulators see early replacement as the fastest way to reduce national usage. The second reason is environmental impact. Many older machines rely on outdated materials, chemicals, and processes that release more emissions or use refrigerants that contribute to climate problems. New mandates are phasing out these systems, especially in commercial refrigeration, air conditioning, and industrial cooling. Businesses can't keep repairing equipment with banned or restricted materials. Once supplies run out or maintenance becomes non-compliant, replacement is the only option. The third factor is cost savings, not for businesses, but for the grid itself. When millions of companies run outdated equipment, the burden on power infrastructure becomes enormous. Modern, efficient systems ease that strain. Regulators see faster upgrades as cheaper than expanding electrical infrastructure nationwide. Better equipment is easier on the grid, even if it's expensive upfront for businesses. The fourth driver behind the new mandates is technology. Over the last few years, energy-efficient systems have become far better and more accessible. LED lighting, variable-speed motors, heat pumps, and high-efficiency HVAC units offer big improvements compared to older models. As these technologies mature, regulators accelerate the transition, raising baseline standards and phasing out anything that doesn't meet them. This creates a domino effect. Manufacturers stop producing old parts, repair techs can't service outdated systems, and businesses are forced to upgrade because the market no longer supports the old equipment. Another key reason is safety. Older equipment is more likely to malfunction, leak refrigerants, waste heat, or cause fire hazards. Modern safety standards are stricter. Outdated machines simply don't pass inspections anymore. Businesses that fail safety audits face fines, forced shutdowns, or expensive emergency repairs. For many, replacing equipment early is cheaper than risking a compliance failure. The next factor is regulatory alignment. Federal, state, and local governments are all tightening rules at the same time, often in overlapping ways. Businesses can't ignore these mandates anymore because they come from multiple directions: energy efficiency standards, emissions limits, refrigerant phase-outs, building codes, utility incentives, environmental safety rules. When multiple regulations hit at once, companies have no choice but to replace older systems quickly. The rise of corporate sustainability goals also plays a role. Large companies publish public targets for emissions, efficiency, and environmental impact. Those goals require real changes, and replacing old equipment becomes one of the fastest ways to show measurable progress. Shareholders watch this, investors watch this, consumers watch this. Companies don't want to fall behind competitors who are already converting their infrastructure. Another reason businesses are accelerating upgrades is long-term operating cost. Older machines may be paid off, but they're expensive to run. They leak energy. They waste fuel. They break more often. They need frequent maintenance. New machines, even though costly upfront, save money month after month. Businesses are running the numbers and realizing operating costs are rising faster than the cost of a replacement. And with new mandates pushing the transition anyway, early replacement becomes a financially smarter move. But one of the biggest pressures comes from the supply chain. Manufacturers are phasing out legacy models to comply with new rules. As a result, replacement parts disappear. Repairs become impossible, and lead times for new systems grow longer. Companies that delay upgrades risk falling to the back of the line, waiting months for equipment they suddenly need urgently. This creates a replace early or fall behind dynamic. Another thing driving this trend is insurance. Insurers now consider outdated equipment a risk factor. Older HVAC units, boilers, electrical systems, or commercial appliances can increase insurance costs or reduce coverage. Businesses are learning that upgrading equipment can lower premiums, and ignoring the mandates can raise them. Then there's the customer experience. As businesses modernize their stores, offices, and facilities, they're discovering that energy-efficient systems improve comfort, reduce noise, and offer better performance. Cooler grocery stores, quieter hotels, better-lit warehouses, and more reliable restaurant equipment all improve customer satisfaction. Businesses that were initially reluctant to upgrade are now seeing the advantages firsthand. So what does this mean for the future? Expect businesses to overhaul their equipment faster than ever before. Expect HVAC systems, refrigeration units, lighting, and industrial machines to follow shorter replacement cycles. Expect entire sectors, like hospitality, grocery, food service, and retail, to update infrastructure continuously instead of waiting a decade. Expect incentives and rebates to increase as governments push for even more efficiency. Expect manufacturers to focus almost entirely on high-efficiency designs. Expect service companies to specialize in compliance-based upgrades. And expect businesses that ignore the mandates to face rising costs, lower reliability, and greater risk of penalties. The new Energy Rulebook is here, and it's reshaping how every business plans, invests, and operates. Replacing old equipment isn't optional anymore. It's becoming the cost of staying competitive, compliant, and prepared for the future.